Good afternoon, Tallahassee, and welcome to your Wednesday edition of FSU Weather. I'm student meteorologist Josh Green, and boy, have we had another cloudy, stormy day over Doak Campbell Stadium here in Tallahassee. Right now, we're still hovering in the upper 70s right now. Winds coming out of the south at 10 miles per hour, still feeding all those thunderstorms that we've been seeing throughout this afternoon. Right now, throughout the Big Bend and South Georgia, temperatures are starting to drop, but we're still in the mid-70s to low 60s, 69 up here in Thomasville. These temperatures are going to stay pretty mild throughout the evening because we have that southerly wind bringing up all that Gulf moisture. But this is what we've been keeping an eye out for, and that's what we're going to get into for the rest of the show. But for tonight, we've got decreasing rain chances going into the week, chance of severe weather, and looking ahead to hurricane season. All this and more on FSU Weather.
Move through and all right, we'll scoot all this way and
doing
go
the
again.
electric slide right now, aren't we?
Exactly. And what we are talking about this evening is a lot of severe weather that's moving through our area. We're finally starting to see what just had a tornado warning on it move out of Tallahassee, but we still have a severe thunderstorm warning for that.
Yes, we do. And so we're still getting a lot of rain here. We're actually kind of dry, missing a lot of the rain here in Tallahassee, but Florida's pretty covered with rain right now, along with the southeast. So
yeah.
Kind of great conditions for severe weather really turning up here in the southeast and Big Bend.
We've really had a lot of wind shear, and that wind shear is the change in wind direction with height. And what that does, it helps, spin up some storms. If you have a different wind direction at this than this height, if they're two different directions, it's kind of like you have that rotation. Can you visualize that?
Yeah, good thing you're not a, drum major doing your
the marching chiefs.
Yes, there you go. Yes, that wind shear is definitely strengthening all these cells, really bringing it up and just intensifying it. Compared to a hurricane, I would say that would tear it down, but now this is great for the storm development we are seeing here.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if we are going to the ball or what is going on right now with us. If we have some headlines, we've got about 10 seconds left before we go to Robert here at the ball. Robert?
Right, guys, and we do have right now beautiful cloudy conditions outside Doak Campbell Stadium. 79 degrees is our current temperature. Winds from the south at 10 miles per hour. Not quite bad weather like we've seen up towards our northern suburbs right now. And if you can see, this supercell to our north is the main concern for us. Tallahassee, again, right now, you are in the clear. We're watching for our northern suburbs. It's going to be just clipping parts of Leon County, and then also this is into areas like Monticello for our main area of concern. We are watching a potential of a tornado spin up there, not tornado warned at the moment, so we are not worried about that right now. Temperature almanac showing that we're pretty much on course for a normal day here. Average is 78, our high is 81, so that's pretty much on average for us. Our low is a little bit warmer than normal, so that's 64 compared to 52, but overall not a huge concern for us because it feels like a pretty nice and warm day for us here, typical early April day in Tallahassee, and really showing that it's pretty much warm across the board. Temperatures have cooled down just a little bit since our high earlier, but we're seeing 70s and 60s prevailing across the region, 76 in Apalachicola and 77 in Tallahassee. Dew points, however, you're definitely feeling it being very muggy outside right now. 70s across the entire viewing area, 74 in Apalachicola and 73 in Tallahassee. And that's really fueling the development of storms throughout the night tonight. Seeing all these storms move up from the south, a southerly flow, creating conditions that are pretty favorable for moisture here, and that's going to move out through the rest of the night tonight. Tonight's forecast, we're going to see very nice conditions across the region. 70s, a little bit stormy, so keep that in mind if you're driving outside, but it is going to be a clear night for those of you as we move from west to east and these storms do move out of the region. Tomorrow, nice and sunny for us. 70s across the entire area, 73 in Apalachicola, 75 in Tallahassee. So tonight we're seeing some thunderstorms, chance of them 66 degrees right now, winds from the south-southwest at 9 miles per hour. And tomorrow it's going to be a little bit thunderstormy, but mostly clear for us around here. Some AM thunderstorms, but during the day it's going to be clear. High of 75 and winds from the northwest at 13 miles per hour. Looking at our week ahead, seeing very nice conditions for us generally, a little bit of a warm-up as we get towards the late week here, but 70s for most of the week, and we do see a nice 70 high on Saturday, 40s for our low across the region. So I'm going to pass things off to Allie Ann.
Yeah, so Tallahassee's rainy, but so is Florida. Florida has been seeing storms throughout the day. So if we're looking right here, we do see the Panhandle. You do see that severe thunderstorm warning right now here in Tallahassee. As we zoom in, we're going to see that warning band still there. We did have a tornado warning here earlier, but now that has since gone. But we still have a lot of showers reaching over Tallahassee and moving through the Big Bend region. Now, currently here in Tallahassee, we are at 77 degrees. At the res, pretty cloudy with some strong winds at 17 miles per hour, and that's really that southerly flow bringing all that rain into the Panhandle and just pushing all that Gulf moisture into our area, creating all this cell development. So we do have this band of showers that's eventually going to move onto that central Florida coast in between Ocala and Orlando. So we're going to zoom over. We're going to see a lot of showers actually pushing off the coast of Daytona right now, and those showers are just coming in from the Gulf, bringing a lot of rain, not severe weather here, just rain for the central Florida region. In Gainesville, we do have some really cloudy temperatures are moderate, 82 degrees. With that wind flow, again, it's at 13 miles per hour, so it's pretty gusty, but great conditions in Gainesville right now. Zooming down to South Florida, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning off the coast around Palm Beach Gardens area. And so you're seeing a lot of strong development of storms right there. I think they did also have a tornado warning on the ground in Palm Beach Gardens earlier today. So a lot of just strong cells really pushing through in Florida right now. In Miami, we do have those partially cloudy skies, temperatures at a very nice 86 degrees with the winds, again, gusty at 11 miles per hour. Current temperatures in Florida, we are quite warm. We're in the 70s across the Panhandle. As we dip down into the peninsula of Florida, our temperatures are peaking in the 80s. We're actually reaching 90 in Orlando. But as we make our way down, we're kind of staying in that mid-80 range. Our dew points right now are off the charts. With all this rain coming through, we're staying very muggy and very moist. Tonight in Florida, we're going to stay in the 70s. As we dip down, we're going to get closer to those 80 range. But right now, Pensacola kind of being a sore thumb in the 60s. Tomorrow in Florida, we're going to have rain throughout the peninsula, and our temperatures are going to stay in the 80s again. But a great forecast for Florida, lots of rain, pretty common for Florida anyway. But now I'm going to go ahead and give things to Chandler and let him take a look at the southeast.
Right. Lots of rain for Florida, the Sunshine State. Not actually very sunny indeed, but for the rest of the southeast, it's pretty cloudy as well. Bowling Green, Kentucky, you guys are sitting with a lot of clouds, as well as Atlanta, Georgia, and Gainesville, like Allie-Ann was mentioning. But Blacksburg, Virginia, you guys are a little bit sunnier ahead of that front. You'll see those clouds start to peek in as we see the front make its way eastward towards the east coast. But those current temperatures, you can really actually spot that cold front over near Jackson, Mississippi, and already through Nashville. It's leaving behind it nice and cooler temperatures, but ahead of it, there's warmer, muggier conditions like Allie-Ann was mentioning. We have those 80s and 70s across the southeast from New Orleans all the way up into Charlotte. So again, it's pretty warm and muggy overall, and there's a lot of thunderstorms ahead of this front. We also have those dew points, again, that are very muggy in the 70s and in the 60s, like Allie-Ann was mentioning, all across the region, actually, not just Florida, but all the way up into Charlotte and, of course, into the Louisiana region. So, again, it's pretty muggy conditions, and that's fueling some of these thunderstorms that we've been seeing pop up in Georgia, South Carolina, and, yes, here even in the Big Bend region. Looking at that radar, we have all these nice convective storms up near Atlanta, Macon, and up into Columbia, South Carolina. They had all these convective storms yesterday as well, and so they're really not getting out of the thick of it. Here in Tallahassee, we actually have that storm to the north that is also producing a decent amount of lightning. It is no longer tornado warned, but it's still a severe thunderstorm. So, of course, make sure you're inside if you're ahead of that storm, or in at all most of the Georgia region. You guys are seeing a lot of storms right now, and you'll see more later on tonight. Looking a little closer at that I-75 corridor, we have a lot of strong storms making their way towards Macon, and they're really providing a lot of severe weather for parts of Georgia. Again, if you are ahead of this line, make sure you guys take shelter inside, stay away from windows. It will be severe weather for the remainder of this evening and into tonight. Of course, after the front clears out, we'll see those nice and more calm conditions start to settle in. As for that future radar, again, like I was saying, that storm system will clear out throughout tomorrow morning, and we'll see a bit of those convective showers like Robert was mentioning earlier in the morning, but it'll clear out pretty rapidly, so we'll see nice, beautiful conditions start to settle in. Actually, a little bit of chance of snow in the Appalachian Mountains as well on the backside of this cold front. Again, it's a pretty strong cold front. We'll see a cool down trend, as I'll show it here in a little bit. But the rainfall forecast, again, it's going to be nice and beautiful for the most part towards the southern parts of the southeast, but once you make your way up into Georgia, it's going to be very heavy rainfall. But for here in Tallahassee, we'll see about that quarter to half an inch of rain, and then once you get into Georgia and Macon specifically, you're seeing somewhere around 1 to 2 inches of rain. But overall tonight, we're seeing conditions that are a bit on the warmer side, but that's because of all that cloud coverage. So we're seeing a lot of warm conditions, 74 in New Orleans, all the way up to 65 in Charleston. So again, it's going to be pretty warm for this time of year, but that's because of all that cloud coverage. If you see all these icons, they're saying it's going to be cloudy tonight, it's going to trap that warmth and moisture. For tomorrow, we'll see the clouds clear out, and temperatures actually start to decrease because, again, those clouds are clearing out and will cool down behind that cold front. But now to talk about another severe hazard that we have to prepare for in the future, it's Riley and Josh talking about hurricane preparedness.
Thanks so much, Chandler. Yes, so I know today we've been talking mostly about tornadoes. We got tornado warnings and watches throughout the area, but for now, we're going to talk about hurricane preparedness as we head into the summer.
Exactly. So we see there's severe weather, and here is moving over into hurricane season. Hurricane season starts on June 1st of this year, as it does every year.
Right, and an interesting fact actually is that hurricanes have become so more prevalent early on that they're actually thinking about moving that to May 15th.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
We have the same thing on our minds because we both love hurricanes. And if you are in Florida, you know hurricanes all too well. Anywhere along the Gulf Coast as of late as well. You want to make sure, especially along that coastline, you know where your evacuation zone is and when the time to get out.
Right, because if you live in those coastal areas, you are very prone to something called storm surge, and that's one of the biggest, deadliest aspects of a hurricane. So if you live in those coastal areas, you should know your evacuation zones, you should know how to evacuate your homes, what to bring, and what roads to take out of there.
And in the event you do have to stay, you want to make sure you have supplies for an emergency kit. Make sure you have enough water for a couple days if you're without running water, enough food. And this is not going to be food you have to cook up. This is going to be things like beef jerky, things just to make sure you don't starve and pass out.
Right, and you know, one of the big things that people don't think about is how hot it is down in the south where we get those hurricanes. And if your power goes out, you're going to be stuck in your homes with 90+ temperatures.
It sounds like a lot of opportunity to go to the beach, if there's a beach left, actually.
Right, exactly.
And this is what you could have in your hurricane emergency kit.
Yeah, so if you take a look over there, we got, first of all, a first aid kit. That's very important in case anyone sustains any injuries throughout the storm. We got our flashlight in case power goes out. What else we got there?
Yeah, we have, as we said, water, that first aid kit to make sure you're not getting any scrapes or anything. I can't read what that is. It looks like bacon. It looks like, not bacon, or it looks like maple syrup.
Non-perishable foods.
There
we go.
Exactly,
That's perfect in case
like
power
beef
goes out.
jerky, which that might be. I'm not
Right.
sure.
But anyways, hey, take the time now to prepare. You don't want to wait until that storm is coming because the stores are going to be clogged with people. So take those precautions now if you can.
Absolutely, and we want to go back to the wall with Chandler, who has a look at Macon, Georgia.
That's right.
That's right. Not bacon, Riley. I know you want to mention bacon all the time. But welcome to Macon, Georgia. Right now we have very cloudy and rainy conditions settled across the region. Like I was mentioning earlier in the southeastern segment, it's pretty terrible weather, if we're being honest. It's active weather. It's definitely something you need to be inside for the remainder of this evening and into the nighttime hours. That current condition, 80 degrees with strong storms, like I was mentioning, winds out of the southwest at 6 miles an hour, bringing in that moisture and that warmth, and again, severe weather. So if you are in the Macon region, make sure you're inside at the moment. Those current temperatures, again, they're pretty much all around the same temperature, and that's because it is pretty warm out. You've got all those clouds trapping in those 60s and 70s. Again, it's pretty warm and unstable atmosphere, so we have a lot of severe weather pretty much across all the region as indicated on these icons. Those dew points are also very muggy. Again, feeding those storms, allowing them to convect and allowing them to grow in strength. So we have all these different high dew point values, 69, 70, all of these very warm conditions across the region. As far as the radar goes, again, it kind of correlates with what I was just saying. We have all these strong rain bands making their way towards the I-75 corridor and passing through the I-475 corridor as well. So if you are traveling along the interstate, make sure you pull over if you're feeling uncomfortable in these heavier rainfalls. It's okay to wait about 15 minutes or so before and let the storms pass. But again, if you are in the Macon area, make sure you go ahead and head inside and just stay inside until the remainder of this evening as these storms start to move out of your region. Taking a broader look at the central Georgia region, it's really just a lot of strong storms all the way into Alabama, coming in towards Macon and the rest of central Georgia and into central South Carolina. So again, if you are finding yourself in one of these towns, make sure that you go ahead and get inside and stay inside. But as for that future radar, again, kind of shows the storms making their way through for the first part of the morning tomorrow until about that 6 a.m. mark. We'll see all those storms start to really move out of the region, and by 6 p.m. we're seeing nice and clear skies again. So great conditions tomorrow after the front has passed, but right now the conditions aren't as great. We have those watches all across the region. Again, just telling you guys to get inside and make sure you're inside away from windows, and if you are driving, to pull over if they're in a heavy thunderstorm. But as for the rest of Georgia, you see that there's this SPC severe outlook. Again, 3 out of 5, or 3 out of 5 for risk of hail, wind, and tornadoes. So again, just take precautions. For tonight, those temperatures really won't reach anywhere near the 60s. We'll really just stay in the 70s for the remainder of tonight. And again, strong storms for the region. And as far as the 3-day forecast, we'll see a cooling trend and a clearing out trend as we see more sunshine.
Yeah, Chandler, and that severe weather is something that we're seeing pretty much across the southeast right now. Looking at the southeast, spot that front, guys. A fun game to play. You see that temperature contrast. Memphis 58, Atlanta 68, really showing in through our colors. That is where the severe weather is moving through, and it shows cooler weather is behind for places in the southeast. Elsewhere in the country, along with this low pressure system that is bringing that severe weather with that front, we do have some winter weather for places towards in the middle, central, northern portions of the country, specifically, if we put it into better terms, to the west of the Great Lakes. And that includes places like International Falls, Minneapolis, where it's currently raining at 38 degrees right now, but there is going to be some snow for extreme northern portions of Minnesota we'll get into in a little bit. It's dry across much of the country right now, except for the southeast. Look at these dark greens. A 73-degree dew point in Tallahassee. When you walk outside, you really feel that air. And that is something I think a lot of us here in the room felt today. Going outside and you're almost starting to sweat as soon as you walk outside. That is what is indicated by those high dew points. I love looking at these winds because, you know, my mind gets brought to all the swirlies, which here are some low pressure systems turning counterclockwise. And notice all this air feeding from the Gulf of Mexico into the southeast. That is really helping to fuel that severe weather with all that moisture that is coming from the Gulf of Mexico. And that's all ahead of this cold front that's moving through, which will dip temperatures tomorrow. Fun facts, tomorrow Tallahassee's high temperature will be early in the morning because that'll be right before this cold front moves through and it knocks down some of our temperatures. But those cloud tops are highest over Georgia right now, where we're seeing that high risk of severe, not high risk, moderate risk, enhanced risk. We're at enhanced risk today here in the state of Georgia, the Peach State. And we see that here with our tornado watch there in yellow. Those deep reds, those are flash flood warnings right now. So that indicates we're seeing a lot of rainfall from these in the same areas as well. A lot of fire weather warnings across the Central Plains down into the Lone Star State of this evening. And those purples are winter weather advisories or winter storm warnings this evening, and that is associated again with that same low pressure system bringing the severe weather. Pacific Northwest is finally dry. We've been seeing a couple days of rain in this area and some snowfall in higher elevations. Luckily, that has moved on, but that has started to play a role into this low pressure system. You really see that swirl over northern Wisconsin now, and we have some of that snowfall in northwestern portions of Minnesota this evening, staying in that cold rain, though, in Minneapolis. Some storms are making their way through Ohio right now, northern portions of West Virginia, make their way into Pennsylvania, but the main storms we are talking about this evening, all these red outlined areas are tornado watches. That's where we need to be vigilant for the chance of tornadoes throughout the evening. These yellows here are severe thunderstorm warnings. We're not seeing any tornado warnings right now, which is a good sign, but all in this red outlined area, even up into portions of Tennessee. We need to be watching out for the chance that any one of these severe thunderstorms could turn tornadic at any moment. And with the wind shear that we are seeing in the southeast today, that is definitely a strong possibility. Lone Star State of Texas, Robert loves to pull this up even when there is nothing going on in the state, because he loves his hometown, especially Dallas, in that area so much. But as for how it ties into our story today, not really doing much. But this evening, San Antonio, 57 degrees. It'll be on a little bit the warmer side. Tallahassee, 70 degrees tonight. We're not really going to get much above that for the day tomorrow. But speaking of tomorrow, look at 37, maybe some snow showers in Minneapolis. Washington, D.C., Boston, it'll be a rainy day out there in the northeast. So Chandler, we're talking about that severe weather and winter weather still holding on in April.
That's right, but winter weather, no, not for Tallahassee. Tallahassee and in the Big Bend region, we're full into spring. Very warm and muggy conditions, and also cloudy today. A lot of clouds around Sportsplex, Panama City, Lake Bradford. Actually, Panama City did have the sun out just a little bit ago, but that sun seems to be gone already, and that's pretty much been our pattern for today. It's been pretty cloudy, but the sun's been peeking out every once in a while, and look at that, perfect timing. The sun has peeked out beyond those clouds as it's making its way down towards the horizon. We have a nice, beautiful picture of Doak Campbell Stadium. It's pretty nice conditions, although again, it's pretty muggy as well. 78 with those clouds and that southerly flow, 10 miles per hour. Again, warm, but also very moist. So that 78 feels a little bit more like the mid 80s just because of how much moisture is in the atmosphere right now. Tallahassee Airport, you guys have no delays though, so you guys can make your way out of Tallahassee if you're trying to get out of Tallahassee, or if you're trying to get into Tallahassee. No issues as far as the airport is concerned. But as for the remainder of the airports that are more national hubs, we do have an issue at New York. They do have a few minor delays, and that's probably because of this huge frontal system that's making its way eastward towards the mid-Atlantic, probably slowing down a few people's travel plans. As for that dog walk forecast, well, you won't want to walk your dog in the morning just because we'll have those storms clearing out, and temperature will be nice, but again, it'll be rainy and thunderstormy. But as we make our way towards the noon hours, we'll start to see those temperatures decrease a bit, and we'll start to see those clouds thin out, and by the afternoon, we'll actually see some sunshine. So again, around noon and in the afternoon hours, that's when you should walk your dog. As for stargazing tonight, it's pretty much a no-go just because of those clouds, again, and because of those thunderstorms that we can expect to roll through the area overnight. As for the football spring game on Saturday, really look forward to it. Go Noles. As far as the temperature is concerned, if you want to go see the basically the defense and offense play each other, it's going to be mostly sunny with 68 as your temperature. It's going to be pretty enjoyable. Again, cheer them on, motivate them for this fall. Hopefully they don't embarrass us. As for the school planner, again, we're going to see those nice, beautiful conditions start to settle in as we make our way towards the weekend. So perfect timing. Of course, we'll see those AM thunderstorms on Thursday, but again, sunshine starts to make its way through on Friday, Saturday, and into Sunday. And we'll see that cooling trend. Of course, some of us here on the weather team do not like to see 40s in the morning, but I think it's pretty enjoyable.
Yeah, absolutely not, Chandler. It's I'm from Jersey. I came to Florida to avoid that kind of weather. But a good alternative when it's 68 degrees on Saturday to going to the pool will be that game that we should not embarrass ourselves against ourselves if we're playing scrimmage. I assume that's what it is. If not, y'all can roast me on social media later. 78 degrees right now. It is cloudy. All those severe storms are to our north right now. And speaking of the severe storm, I want to go through this radar a little bit because what we were seeing was a tornado-warned storm. We see a little hook echo just to the north of Tallahassee around that, let's get the time right, about 5:45, 5:40 today. So that is really where we are seeing the storm. And now that's just a severe thunderstorm warning. The tornadic threat has passed, but don't be surprised if anything spins up. And it is raining so hard in Thomasville that our temperature has dipped to 69 degrees, while we're still holding on to 77 degrees here in Tallahassee, where we haven't really seen any rain so far this afternoon. We'll see if we get another storm to pop up because it is very moist outside and we're dealing with a lot of juiciness in the atmosphere. That's the key word this evening. With all that weather moving through, we could be getting in a little bit on that. And our future pick up scattered storms throughout the evening. We really don't see that clear until the cold front moves through tomorrow around the noontime hour. It's going to make for a very clear sky tomorrow evening. In the morning, though, we'll have our high temperature and we're going to stay a little bit on the cloudier side. But 70 degrees is tonight's forecast in Tallahassee. Notice by the time we get tomorrow, that high is 75. So that may occur once we get the sun to pop out a little bit, but we're going to see a cooling trend as the morning hours go on. That is something we don't usually see. And speaking of that trend, here it is. 69 degrees at 7 a.m. We cool off as that cold front moves through. 65 at 9, 11 a.m. we're at 64 degrees. We're not going to see the temperatures get up into around that 75 degree time frame until, you know, the late afternoon hours when we get in on some sun. This evening, those thunderstorms will persist in the area. Tomorrow, 75 degrees with some morning thunderstorms. And here's a look at the week ahead. I'll have a little bit more on this in a second, but tomorrow, once we see the storms roll through, we are dry for the rest of that 7-day forecast, Allie-Ann and Josh.
That's right, Riley, and I'm one for sure looking forward to those dry, cool mornings that we're going to have coming up this weekend. Ain't that right?
Oh, yes, totally. So this weekend's spring game, we want those clear conditions, and it looks like we are going to clear out this weekend for our spring game.
That's right, and what a change it is compared to the rest of this past week we've had with all this severe weather moving through our area and the southeast. Here at FSU Weather, we've been super busy tracking all this.
Yeah, so this week has been very busy, but really the last 2 weeks we've been doing our live stream and just constantly covering all the severe weather that's really been moving through. It's been a pretty active severe weather season for the southeast.
It certainly has, you know, and it's just getting kicked off. We're just in the beginning of April right now, and the most active months are April, May, and June. So this trend is going to continue, and those tornadoes are only going to get stronger, especially out there in the Midwest.
Oh yes, so totally. But also we're going to roll into hurricane season too. So not only going to have the severe weather events, we're also going to start having to look out for hurricanes and that tropical development.
Right, and just as me and Riley mentioned before, you want to be prepared now. You don't want to wait until those storms start to roll in because you're going to be stuck waiting in those gas lines and all that. But hey, for now, go ahead and give us a follow on our social medias, including Twitter
and Facebook, where you can send us some pictures, you can like us, whatever you want.
Right, and also go ahead and watch us live on YouTube. We go live Monday through Friday at 6 p.m., and we also show our severe weather on there.
Yes, we do. So you can also follow us on Instagram, send us your severe weather pictures, clouds, dogs, whatever. You can just enjoy it, send it there, and we'll see it. Maybe put it on the show.
That's right, but as for now, I'm student meteorologist Josh Green.
I'm student meteorologist Allie-Ann McCord, and we're going to throw things over to the wall and let Riley recap our 7-day.
Yeah, well, that threat of severe storms for this week is ending tomorrow. 30% chance of rain. That will be clearing as the day goes on. Make way for a windy Friday. This weekend gets a little bit on the chilly side before temperatures start to rebound early next week and conditions stay dry.